I apologize, I didn't have my microphone on. Everybody got their microphones on? Even you troublemakers over there got your microphones on? Move on to the approval of minutes.
Motion to approve the May 11th, 2026 meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the May 16th, 2026 town hall meeting minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's done. Now we'll move on to our reports, right? You get that right? Yeah, okay. I don't have a whole lot for my report tonight, well, a little bit, I guess. We had a town hall meeting a couple weeks ago. Thought that went really well. It was, I enjoyed the meeting, hearing from everybody, and it's nice having that dialogue. You know, Mindy and I talked, and we'd like to do those a little more often. She had a great idea to call them Coffee and Cookies with Council. Just some informal conversations to, you know, people ask questions and we can, you know, all that fun stuff. And then I sent all of you, I don't know if all of you saw in your email, I sent a little document of my strategic priorities and my decision framework for how I look at things. So I just wanted to kind of talk on that just a little bit. Did everybody see that? Do you guys have any questions on it? I don't want to just read everything to you if you already read it. Questions? No? Okay. And then my, basically how I look at making decisions, that was in part of that too. Is that, anybody have any thoughts or questions on that? No? Okay, I guess that's about all my report then. Clerk's report.
Total vouchers for the month were $89,203.42. The income was $76,012.30. Anything else you guys want to know?
How much are the vouchers?
89,203.
What was the street and highway money for?
The street and highway money?
Yeah, there's 11,000.
Street and highway.
Ad valorem? Are you talking about ad valorem?
That's what we get from the
Yeah.
state every
Okay.
quarter.
Oh, that's what we got.
That's
Okay.
for 24.
Oh, that's money we got, not that we spent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
2400 road and what's that other?
Lori.
The little street.
Oh, Fitch
Yeah.
and Giles?
The road around the fire station as well. That's
Ah.
technically a road, not a parking lot.
I'll make a motion, we approve the vouchers for $89,203.42.
And I'll second that motion.
Any questions before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Cool. Did you have anything else?
Pay voucher, number 12. $497,362.33. For Headinger, BG, and Rural Water 1. Musgrave.
Tell me that amount again. I'll make a motion that we pay at number 12 for a total of $497,362.33.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Anything else for you?
I'm done.
Okay, you're done. I thought there was something else. Building inspector.
I did 20 inspections in May. That's a little bit up from the month before. We've had quite a bit of permits come in lately, so I think it's starting to pick back up. We'll see what happens when it gets to 100 degrees tomorrow.
has anybody, turned in or got any of the the meter permit things?
I think we've had a couple, permits turned in. I haven't looked at them yet. I can't prove it until Paige gets back because I don't know all the paperwork in there she does. So I know we've got a couple turned in and I've answered probably 10 phone calls today about just different questions people had.
So I know they started dropping meters last week,
Yep.
so. Any questions for Matthew?
You gotta know, to put in a permit, you gotta draw the site plan, right?
Correct.
So you gotta know where your meters are gonna be.
Yeah, so it's only people that have turned in so far would have had their meters placed already. Yep,
That was just for the people watching.
yep.
So can I get a clarification on that? Because Lister, you said, they're dropping meters. Where are they dropping meters at?
Down on Holiday and, what is it, Beechcraft, Brave, Chieftain.
Base Arrow.
Yeah, Pace Arrow, Itasca, right where they first started bringing it in, because all that area is alive. From there to the water tower's alive. I don't know about beyond the water tower.
So, those are the main lines.
Mm-hmm.
They've dropped the main lines, so now they're
Oh, no, they dropped the main lines and all the runners out to where they're going.
to the properties.
Correct, yes, and now they're installing meters.
Okay,
Yeah, they're installing meters down in that area.
all right. So I'm on Northland Valley Drive. They didn't do any work on that, part of the main line. We've got to hook into that main line. I've had twice now Hettinger people out there looking for my meter. And last week or the week before, I had 4 guys out there looking for a meter, and I opened the window and I said, we don't have a meter, we haven't hooked in yet. We need to get hooked in. And they said, oh, okay, we'll take you off the list. And I said, no, don't take me off the list because we still need a meter. But I looked through all of the information that we have out there on the city and, everything that's been updated. And I don't see any instructions on when are they going to do the runs for Northland Valley Drive.
So we don't have I don't know their timetable at all, because I don't even inspect their work. They have their own inspectors. When they turn a system on, like when they make something live, like down on Holiday Drive, that's an active line now, so they can turn people on. So until they get up to where you're at and they pressure tested it and,
No, she's
Well,
on,
it's already
she's
on.
on existing POA.
I don't know that. I have
So-
no idea that. Have they
So
tied into that?
No, they have to bring it, her water's on the opposite side of the road from her house.
Okay.
They gotta bring it across the road and put a meter in.
She's got a water tank.
Yeah.
She don't even have a meter.
Right,
But she's on the list
but I
She
have,
is on the
to
list.
get a meter.
and we have to hook in,
Just-
but I
you-
don't see
you-
any instructions.
You won't know until they
You-
come
you-
back out and put a new stake in your yard.
Yeah, you won't actually probably know until they drop that meter.
Well, she says they've been looking for the meter. They're wanting
Because
to.
they think she's a
Yeah,
swap.
Yeah,
You might wanna contact Jim from Hettinger. I know we have Jim's number, right?
Well, I hate for everybody on Northland Valley Drive or anybody else who's already got, water
Yeah.
running that needs to hook into this to call Jim at Hettinger. I'd like to have some instructions out there, what are we supposed to do as citizens? Do I go, if I submit my permit now, how long am I gonna be waiting, or am I put on a list for them to
The only
do the
thing
extension?
Matthew knows about is the permit process.
Right.
As
So-
far as the construction
Okay, you're off the
process.
hook.
You can't even submit your permit until the meter has
Until they
been
have a
placed
meter in.
in your yard.
Okay,
Right, so you can't even submit a permit then. And people who are getting meters swapped, they don't need a permit because they're already hooked up, so they're
Right.
just getting a meter swap. But somebody like you, until you have a meter in your yard, you can't submit your permit.
and I know I'm not the only one, but
Well, there's still a lot distribution lines yet to be ran and everything, and they've got their, Richard could probably speak to it much better than I can, but.
Yeah, he's just about permits, just to tie on to the meter. Okay, and you gotta have the permit to dig through your yard, or someone dig through your yard to hook up to the meter. As far as the meters installation, we just have to wait on Hettinger and see what their schedule does and is. 'Cause
Yeah,
with the rain in the area, they lose days.
definitely.
They
But when
try
I
to
look
make
at the
them up on
map,
weekends.
that we have out there that says, the status of the water project.
Well, we
It has
can't,
Northland Valley Drive is completed,
It-
all the way down, and so,
Yeah, but that's mainline, because it's already there. But you could probably ask Richard here, he has the meetings with these guys, and he could throw that out there if they can give him any idea of when that's going to happen.
we've been asking for guidance and direction and areas that they will be working in, and we don't really hear that much out of it. I won't say we don't hear nothing, we just don't hear that much. And
time for a little pressure.
what?
Time for a little pressure.
Well,
it
the
could
way
be.
the contract was written too, is they get to decide the order of operations, to save us money.
So, yeah,
That's how it was written.
They're trying to do the job as efficiently as they can, but if they did your area first and then went over here to do this area, that would cost them money and time.
Yeah, I'm not asking for
Okay.
priority or special treatment
I
or
would-
anything. I want guidance.
I would expect that yours is gonna be towards the very end, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because that's how my company would do it. We do services last. We always get the main lines in, the trunks and everything. But going down through there, you say you're not the only one, but is there more people on our road that,
I know there's one on Rosemarie, but they have a water tank, but I think the new main, there was like one part of Rosemarie that did not have Lynn Valley water.
I don't know anyone else on our road that doesn't have
Okay.
POA water, but would you like me to reach out to Hettinger? I can do that.
No, I was just wanting some good information,
Well, the thing is,
Because I am seeing out there on social media, all these people that are saying, oh my gosh, we only have 90 days. They've set the line out there and we only have 90 days to put in, and they have no direction on how to do it, and I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, I've
Well,
looked over everything and I
Social
don't see
media's
it.
got it a little bit wrong because it's 90 days after the meter's installed.
That maybe we need to do a frequently asked questions on the city page or something regarding that.
it's probably a good idea, because that is what we talked about at the town hall. Once you get it, once they set a meter, the 90 days starts then.
And we will be talking in a lot more in depth on the water here when we get to that. a
Yeah,
bit
sorry
later.
to sidetrack you. Sorry, Matt.
Any other questions for Matthew? Nope. So then we have codes enforcement, and Paige is not here. Is anybody here that can answer questions about it for her, or just, it is what it is?
I mean, her report's in there.
Yeah.
She's been working a lot on the reading meters and getting the computer set up
Yeah.
and software and.
And she did get the meters all read, right?
Most of them?
Well, there were a couple I knew that she missed that she.
We
was
have to
waiting
compare it with the POA because there's some that just didn't register, like Curtis's we know.
Yeah.
And we were kinda curious who else just didn't register.
Yeah.
So.
What do you mean it didn't register, it's not?
It
working?
Didn't pick it up when she drove
It didn't pick
by.
it up at all.
No.
So.
You need to crawl in there and change your battery.
Mine didn't register?
Uh-uh.
Well, I like that. Mine doesn't register, I don't have a.
Oh, no, we have your number.
Oh, figure
But,
it out.
so she's gonna get with Margine, or I'm gonna try this week maybe, and, see if we can compare and see if something didn't get installed right.
Public safety, police department.
So you have that initial report, if you don't have any questions about that. A couple things to add.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna talk about the gun range, I know.
Yeah. And I had Mindy send out this morning, I don't expect there'll be any decision on it, I just asked you guys to look it over, we may need to be looking at an ordinance for the e-bikes. And which those typically, the fastest those will go is 28 mile an hour, they're pedal assist. There's 3 different levels of them. But then we jump into the electric dirt bikes, and those things will run 70, and we probably need to look at restricting those more so than the e-bikes themselves. But I had that sample ordinance sent out, and that's just basically kind of a copy of what everybody else
Then
is.
you're not proposing, restricting them altogether?
No, just regulating them, because like, and we kind of do this every few years, seems like there's a new toy that can be ridden on that doesn't fit the description of the definition of an ATV or a worksite vehicle. They keep coming out with something new that, and in order to be able to regulate that, maintain the safety side of it, you've got to add some definitions in, change things up a little bit to cover different new vehicles that came out.
I skimmed over real quick earlier today, and it looked like you were just wanting to put rules around them, not get rid of them.
Right,
Yeah.
no, just
I,
that.
I looked it over and it looked great to me, except what about these little,
Scooters?
skateboard looking things?
Yeah,
Electric
yeah.
scooters.
Yeah,
What,
that's a
what
whole
are
other
them
thing.
called?
There's a whole other thing. You know, so,
I
I
mean,
mean, it's all stuff we probably need to address, just because like, it seems like every 2 years we get a new toy that doesn't fit
right.
the definitions and the state.
I noticed I see a lot of them in Olathe just zipping across through intersections.
Oh, yeah.
On the side.
I know up north, a lot of those cities are dealing with it right now, and they're trying to eliminate the electric dirt bikes altogether from anybody riding them, just because of their speed.
They have, a lot of cities have actually taken care of that issue, they've made it illegal, and or put substantial restrictions if it involves kids, and in fact, charging parents if the kids are on them and they're not insured, so the issue is, there was the kid in Leawood that was killed, there was, I wanna say it was Olathe, don't hold me to that, but there was a couple other kids that ended up being killed, and they decided they're gonna start putting these things in place to address those issues. But there also is a big difference between Olathe, Overland Park, Leawood, and all the cities of Johnson County versus smaller communities where you don't have that high density traffic. So
I think
that's something to be considered.
what places I've seen that have allowed like the electric dirt bikes that'll do 70, is they're making those, basically they're saying, state law is you have to have a driver's license to ride a motorcycle, and to make those abide by all motorcycle rules, so nobody's gonna be allowed to ride unless they have a motorcycle license, type of thing, so. It's just stuff to think about, but we probably wanna get on top of it before it becomes a big problem, because
Yeah.
we are seeing them, I mean, we haven't seen a lot, but they'll probably just grow in numbers for sure.
Well, those things that Richard's talking about, it's just a skateboard with
Yeah.
a end,
Right.
but those are,
Yeah, and I don't know what you do with those, cause those don't fit the
Yeah.
e-bike, they don't fit, an e-bike is a pedal assist,
Well, I did like the helmet thing.
yeah,
The fine, to me, was a little,
well,
it wasn't enough.
and that was generic copy paste thing for the fine thing, certainly you can, I mean, this council can do
Yeah.
what they want there. But
Yeah, I just heard this debate the other day. Will you guys be able to tell the different classes on the e-bikes?
do what now?
Will you guys be able to tell the different classes, like, I don't know, what is it, class 1, 2, and 3? Is there 2 different classes for them?
Well, maybe not just at glance, if we have it stopped for one reason or another, or anything like that, which, I mean, if we see a kid riding one that's not within if we utilize the same kind of thought process we do with everything else, they're not within 100 feet of a parent.
Right.
Once you have that stop, we could certainly look at it then to determine how many.
Because I was wondering how they would all know which different class is and be able, use that to pull them over.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in them, other than know if I haven't stopped, I can certainly,
Right,
once I
right,
look
right.
at the engine, I can figure out what it's gonna be.
I have a question on that 100-foot thing, and it may be a nitpick. But I was reading that, and it said within 100 foot of an adult. It didn't say a supervising adult or anything. So technically, you see them, you're an adult, they're within 100 feet of an adult. We might want to tweak that language a little bit.
Yeah, the language needs to be changed up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think in other parts of it, it specifies a parent or guardian type thing, but then in the one.
Yeah,
section,
it was like, that was a little,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, that's actually been brought up before. There's an adult sitting out there.
it was an adult that saw me, I'm good, yeah.
And-
But,
and
well,
again, I mean, I have a hard time with it, because I want kids to have fun,
You're right.
but we gotta keep it safe, I certainly don't want anybody getting killed, and it's tough, because.
Have we considered doing any kind of like a safety course, education day, something that just
We've
kind of?
talked about it, I'm not quite sure how we coordinate all of that.
Especially for weekenders. you know, it'd be hard to coordinate for kids who only come out on the weekends.
Like a spring event every year or every couple of years.
We kind of ran into that back when we were still dealing with the lake with the boater safety courses where we could schedule dates, but inevitably, we had people coming in that hadn't been here for 3 months and suddenly they're calling us going, hey, well, I need you to get my kid this safety course because
Yeah.
I want him to ride his jet skis. And it was really hard to keep up with it.
Yeah,
Well, I
now,
wasn't
how-
thinking like a mandatory, just more of a,
Hey,
community
sure,
benefit
whatever.
kind of thing, you know, we do it to help out as
We
much.
certainly look at that.
How effective are those kind of things anyway? 'Cause somebody's gonna break the rule, they don't care how many.
No, I mean, they're gonna break the rules, they break the rules. I've got a young man that I'm gonna go speak to when we get done here, because I've already told him 4 times, he's not to be riding his go-kart, and I just saw him again, but I was on my way out.
Right.
We're gonna come talk to your mom and dad this time, we're gonna tire them. Try to be nice about it here.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about safety.
Yeah.
It's about protecting, you know, the citizens and the adults and the safety of those who are driving the smaller vehicles.
And as far as things getting torn up, that's adults. That's who we catch doing that, it's the adults. We don't catch a lot of kids tearing up parking lots and doing donut stuff. The kids are usually pretty careful because they don't want attention, but the adults, you catch them doing all kinds of things.
And if you do those kind of things, don't it kind of reduce our liability some?
What's that?
You know, like doing like.
The
he's talking about
safety
doing
day or
a
whatever.
Safety day or whatever, would that reduce our liability? Would that kind of do
Yeah,
something?
lawyer question there. I'm not sure if that reduces our liability or not.
If somebody gets seriously hurt, the city and the POA will be included in that nice little complaint. That's just the way it is. But,
Yeah, you can do everything right, so.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
It's unfortunate.
that little safety thing isn't gonna help.
It's just more of a community service kind of,
Sure.
you know, try to
And like I said, I'm not against it at all. It's just a matter of
coordinating it.
coordinating and getting it
Yeah,
set up.
you're kind of a small department, so you don't have a whole lot of,
Yeah, Brett's always whining about working too many hours.
yeah.
Well, while the council's thinking about this e-bike thing and these new things coming out, I'm considering building a rocket ship, so
Oh, cool.
you might,
We're gonna have to have another ordinance.
Yeah.
Just as long as it goes straight up, we're good.
Another ordinance.
is it
Up
kinda like
somewhere.
that Evil Knievel rocket ship?
Yeah.
Oh, there we
Like,
go.
I
Jump-
just, I
jump
actually
thing.
just watched that.
Can you like just jump across the lake? Start with, you know,
I don't
paddle
know.
boat or something small, you know.
Yeah,
Wasn't there a guy that actually built a rocket in his backyard?
that's what she's talking about. And took off in it.
Fireworks aren't.
Government gets excited about that now.
Yeah.
I don't think they did so much when he did it, but they do now. So I guess the next thing I had, I just wanted to run by you guys and maybe a little discussion is the gun range. That's, the berms are real close to being done. Actually, Rob's been doing a ton of work up there getting those ready to go. So the questions would be is, we've discussed it a little bit, is about, do we wanna look at having a couple days a month or whatever, where we open that up to the public? There's some restrictions. I spoke to the insurance company, sent them everything. They said if we did that, the quote they sent me was $688 a year for the insurance coverage for it, which isn't bad at all.
No.
We thought if we opened it up a couple days a week or whatever, a month, that we're gonna have to have a range master up there, probably somebody you have to pay. Of course, targets cost money, upkeep costs a little money, so we wanna charge a little bit of a fee. We can kind of figure out what that would be. And then maybe setting up a schedule online that has like blocks of an hour at a time or whatever, where people can go on and sign up. That way you don't end up with 50 people up there.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, limited number of lanes, you don't have a big crowd, it'll keep it a little safer if you can keep the numbers down
Yeah.
a little bit too.
Would,
So.
would you want them to have a gun safety in place or take one or like a gun
Well-
safety course?
I mean, what we would do, we'll have very strict guidelines as far as, you know, when they show up, the guns cannot come onto the range loaded. When they come through that gate, that gun better be unloaded. There's a lot of those things. We'll have specific areas where they can go to load the guns, where they have to stay, they can't be carrying them back and forth from the cars, things like that. And that's just, this is all basic safety stuff, but whoever we have up there being range master or whatever, the rules are gonna be very strict, so if you violate, you're gone, get off. And we'll have all that online along with the schedule stuff, and there would be waiver forms they're gonna have to sign, hold harmless agreements, that type of stuff. Stuff acknowledging the rules.
Will there be restrictions on the type of
Yeah.
guns that they can
Absolutely.
use?
Oh, yeah,
Like
there'll be size, yeah, you're not gonna bring a 50
AK
cal.
-47.
What?
Cattle.
Rocket launchers?
I don't think our range would be very
let you do it for very long, unfortunately, already.
Hey Corey, I noticed that Community Care, when they put that dumpster up there, they kept it very clean. But I didn't see by the time they were done,
The what?
that they put that dumpster that they used up there by the firing range. Did you even
Oh,
know
they
that?
put, I didn't even know that.
Oh. Got dropped
Brand
last
new to
week.
me.
It was only there
It
for
was only
a
there for
couple of days.
yeah.
But
No, great guy. I didn't, if I did see it, I probably thought it was something wrong left up there. Doing something with it, but yeah, no, I didn't pay attention to it. Anyway, that's just, I guess my question is that something we wanna look at doing? Do we want to?
I think it would be very much appreciated, and I know people around here that would probably go up there and be willing to pay.
And we'll have to gauge it, just see how much interest there is once we start doing it to, cause we probably do like one day strictly pistols and have another day that'll be rifles.
Yeah.
Just because of the distances and just
Right,
trying to
yeah.
keep everybody in line on the firing range line, so we don't have people walking in front of things. That type of stuff.
I like the idea.
I think it would be good, not just for letting people do some target practice, it's gonna help out safety wise too.
Sure.
Cause they're gonna know their weapons a lot better.
Sure.
Open to the public from anywhere.
Do what?
Open to the public from anywhere, not just.
Yeah, but we talked about that too, is possibly charging for Lynn Valley residents or property owners, a specific fee, and then if you're not, it might be $5 more.
What do they
something.
charge over at Hillsdale?
I don't know, I've never been over there. Brett, you been over there?
I believe it's $10 a day, or $15 a day. I've been to Ottawa's Gun Guys, it's $20 a day there. It's an indoor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's an indoor one, so.
The one up in Olathe, I believe it was $20 a day as well.
And that's for a full day, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about, at least initially, till we get a feel for what we're gonna have there, doing a schedule. And if we end up with 10 shooting lanes, then that schedule from, this first hour you're open, there's room for 10 people, sign up.
Okay.
And then this block, 10 people, whatever, and just see where you get, and then we can adjust after we start to kinda get a feel for what we have.
You're
How
talking
many
about Center
stations will
Fire.
you have?
Center Fire, yeah, I was a member.
I think when we were looking up that, and talking about it, we've got enough room up, more than enough room probably to do 10 ranges, lanes, and that what we're coming up with.
I think we could do up to 20. Depends on if we kept the center open
Yeah.
for our training.
Yeah, so, I mean, we got room for, the way that thing ended up built, I think it was, 160 foot between the lanes?
Yeah, pretty close.
It's pretty wide,
140 wide.
140. And then the berms the back berm's 16 foot high, and then the side berms are at 16, and then they taper down at the back end, so. It was all, we looked up NRA's range specs, what they recommended and that type of stuff, and that's what we tried to build it to, so.
And we exceeded it.
Yeah, we actually exceeded it a little bit, but.
Good.
Rob exceeded it.
NRA is 14 feet, is that right?
Yeah, Rob's been up there, I don't know if you guys probably haven't noticed, but he's been up there on his evenings and time off and stuff, doing a ton of work up there, getting that put together for us. Done a real nice job with it.
Appreciate it.
He's got a hydro seeder that he built that will probably at least attempt to see, and hydro seed the front of that berm bit to grass, so we'll not have the erosion and stuff similar, so.
And it'd just be one range master per session, or?
Who's available, it might be different for different days, but if I have time, I'll for sure be up there along with someone else.
And then we'll have to maybe, reach out, see if there's anybody that's interested in doing it as well, vet them as far as experience, knowledge, that type of stuff. Make sure they're
They'll have to be well qualified.
qualified. And we could pay them, per day or whatever to be up there to help out a little bit as well, so.
Yeah, as long as we can cover our cost of operations and maintenance, sounds like it would benefit.
We think we could figure out what the fee would need to be to do that. leave a little extra to put back for if we need to do improvements or anything like that to it.
Start out small, build up to the RPGs and.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure the farm will handle that.
Handle it once or twice,
Well, if you're
anyway.
building it, Rob, I think it'll handle about
I
anything.
guess it just depends on where you hit it. George Ball.
But, yeah, so, I don't know if you want us to do any kind of community outreach to see what the thoughts were, if we just wanna look at moving forward with it.
Something tells me you're gonna be overwhelmed.
We brought it up several years back publicly, and yeah, there was a ton of support, everybody was volunteering to come up and try to help build it. And we just didn't move forward at that time, where they would, I think they had other stuff going on as well, so we kind of let it go.
And we didn't have that in your Holland.
Yeah, we didn't have all that free dirt, that was a big moment.
That makes a big difference.
He needed a place to dump, we needed it, so.
So could we set up like, you know, kinda like a little town hall thing, but, you know, a safety meeting like at the clubhouse there, invite everyone to, and would you guys be okay with leading that and?
We're gonna build some, shooting tables and stuff to set up there. Things like that, we'll probably have we got that frame out there of a Quonset hut thing or something that's sitting over there. I've got a whole new stack of metal I took over there, we'll probably cover that, put a roof on it, so it's got a shade area where people are checking in, whatever, we can have somebody in there.
You know, we got a couple barns over there that need to be torn down too.
Yeah,
That's a
If
question
that'll
that, are you talking about on the lagoon area?
Yeah.
Somebody did approach me the other day and wanted to know what we were gonna do with those. They might be interested in moving them for us to get them out of our way.
Well, I mean,
I'd move it to
that's,
my house.
that's great, but if they could use it, I'd rather go to them.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying this,
Yeah.
somebody did ask me the other day and I said I'd check, so.
that's all I have, unless you have any other questions, I guess.
Fire report.
Same thing, you got it.
Seemed like it was a quieter month.
A little bit, yeah. We had, I don't know, the last week maybe, we've had quite a few medical calls, but, yeah, it's been, none of the fires, that's been good, so. We did, the fireworks, I'm waiting for them to let me know they've arrived, and we'll have to get down there and get those picked up and run up for the,
Oh, yeah, that,
which I would say is gonna be at any point right now.
Yeah, that's-
We're getting down to the time.
Yeah, it's almost July. What happened, where'd this year go?
When do you start selling?
So what, the fourth falls on a Saturday this year?
Yeah.
So I think by state law, we can start selling on that Monday or Tuesday before.
So is it July 1st of 2026 when the Kansas law change
I can't remember.
happens?
Yeah, but
It's gonna change
Yeah, we can sell year round, isn't it?
to year-round sales
Yeah.
for.
yeah, so there won't be a restriction. There's typically been a restriction, so it just depends on if that changes on the first, but.
And hopefully our shipment wasn't in Kentucky.
I saw that.
oh, yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
saw that. I thought about it.
I had bad visions of that happening to us when we were on our way
It's like,
back.
what color's that truck and where's Brett?
Yeah.
So as long as that wasn't our truck, we should be on schedule.
Oh, Dalton,
Yeah,
I did get that gravel all leveled out and everything, so this, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm off duty, so I'll probably have that all formed up, ready for concrete, get that poured, so. We've got all the kennels are in, all the dog waterers are in, the outsides, or did we order them?
I
What
don't
all?
think we. did
Posts and the spigot, that's what it was, the water spigot.
Dog kennels.
Hose reels, all the
hose
kennels.
reel, Water line.
Yeah, so we got a lot of that stuff in.
So
Are
got
they-
a few things.
are they, for the waters, are they just water bowls or lixits, or
Do what now?
how are they watering? Are it bowls,
So
lixits, or?
these, the bowls we're looking at buying actually, mount to the sidewall of the kennels,
Uh-huh,
and they're automatic.
Okay.
Waterers, so they've got a float in them, so they'll
nice.
continue to stay.
so the dogs can play in it and they'll get new water?
Yeah,
Cool.
we just have a big water bill, but you won't have to worry about hot water to drink. Cause that's always a problem in the summer when it gets super hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making sure you're keeping them enough water, fresh water, so. These hold, I think they were a gallon and a half per gallon, and then they've got the float, so you just leave the hose on, and just keep refilling.
Cool.
they're scheduling an appointment to come down and take all their videos and pictures of that old truck to get it listed.
Oh, good.
For the auction, so.
They get any idea what we'll get for it, or?
They don't know. They, Purple
I
Wave
s-
never know.
Well, I know they don't know. I didn't know if
Yeah,
if we'd done any
It just
research to know
depends
what.
on if you get two people that really want it. If you get that, you probably do all right, but if you get one, man, good luck.
I'll bid $1.
Yeah, so, and it's, you know, Purple Wave, there's no reserve, but they don't, since we're a municipal entity, they don't charge us anything for it, they waive their fees, so.
Oh, nice.
$6.
Any other questions for Corey?
It could happen.
Sewer report. Not a lot to report on that. The paperwork is still stuck at the USDA for the lagoon expansion. I know they're trying to rattle it. They're waiting on a state engineer. And Kansas doesn't have its own state engineer, so we have to wait on some other state to be nice to us and approve that. So once that's done, they can start construction, we can schedule a groundbreaking and all that. Richard, do you have anything else to add to that, or?
Not on the sewer.
Okay. Got the numbers there for what the POA halls were. There's a whole lot to say to that. Yep. Water report. I will
I
turn
would
this over to
make a
Richard.
motion to go into executive session so we can discuss legal.
Okay, we got one coming up, but we can do it now. too.
This is gonna be different,
Okay. How long?
probably for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
So a motion to go into.
Well, I made the motion.
Yeah, I know, but you have to say,
Oh, the time.
yeah, the time.
I've never done this before.
Yeah,
Be back at 7:30,
and you have to say what it's for.
and it's for legal,
And we're coming back to this room.
and then we'll come back here.
You have to define the legal.
Yeah, you have to define.
What's that?
Would it be?
Associated with the water project,
Contractual.
Contractual?
contractual,
Is
yeah.
that what it is? I mean, I'm not putting words in your mouth. If it is contractual, that's what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, contractual.
That's what I would assume, but
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will be back in 20 minutes. And we're back. And for the record, while we were paused on the, while we were in executive session, John and Shannon and Richard and Mike came in and extended the executive session a little bit. So that wasn't on the stream, but I wanted to make sure to make comment on that so that anybody watching knows we did do that. And we lost somebody.
Mike?
Oh. So did you get lost on the way back from the? Okay, now, back to where we were. Water report from Richard.
Water report, we are clicking right along. We made the cut over to the POA water system. When we cut over, there was fear that there was gonna be some leaks in the old POA water system. No leaks have been found or reported. We did have one, for sure, 1 meter, brand new one that's under warranty, blew out some sort of plug and had to get it replaced. Even with the added water pressure, everything seems to be operating normally. They are now, and I believe Lister has a water meter now, but they are dropping meters along Holiday.
Yep.
So they're starting to put in meters. We will try to communicate with Hettinger and try to get an idea of which areas they're gonna go to next to put in meters. I would advise all of the residents to look for a new survey stake that says meter possibly. Did you have one?
No, I had one months ago, but. when
Oh, they
showed-
didn't restake
no.
it?
Friday, when they showed up, they just showed up and started digging.
Well, I'm not gonna tell them to stop.
I saw somebody over by Bathhouse too, with all they're doing their survey stuff, so that may be where they're at right now.
Yeah, it's usually them two little gray Toyota pickups that park
There's
out
a white
front.
man, 2 guys in it.
Oh, okay.
They were doing a stake out there.
They were surveying something, their little tripod set up.
Oh my.
So when did you get your meter?
Friday.
you got your line to your house yet?
Not yet, no. I got my, I had
Did you
to-
by example?
well, it was Friday and I couldn't come get my permit turned in time, so.
Mine been turned in.
He turned his in on the example.
Well, I didn't know where my meter was gonna go to put, for sure, to go make my drawing.
I faked it. Anyway,
Way to set an example there.
It's a little bit off, but you said your brother was gonna use that little,
Yeah, we're using that mini excavator to,
but he was gonna use it like last weekend or something?
he used it to do plant some trees a couple weeks ago and it worked.
Just wanted
Anyway.
not rain.
Yeah, it won't do the rock.
I will tell anybody watching that if you have questions or anything, please contact the city. Facebook is still not the place to report problems.
Yeah, I don't know about,
You can email me if you'd like. I will try to assist any way possible.
yeah, I don't think anybody out there really wants to pay city employees to browse Facebook all day, so. You know, and we will, speaking of that, just kind of unrelated, but we are gonna be making I did get the .gov address for our website, so when we get our new website live, we will be pushing all of our actual official updates out on the website only, with text my gov alerts letting people know there's content and stuff, so just as a side note, that's coming.
And that's all I had. Any questions?
We should probably, while we're talking about water project, we should probably talk about these parts that, Mike needs.
Yeah. I don't know, he's got two bids here.
Yeah.
Do we have, what kind of budgets do we have?
This comes out of our,
This comes out of our money, yeah.
We don't know.
So,
well, we have to build up some money.
Revenue? Okay.
so question, I mean, you know, like, I don't know how the finances and all work, you
Well,
know, if there's.
here, along with this, let me,
What do you mean this has to come out of our money?
This can't come out of project funds.
Yes, it can come out of project funds. Just like the extra meters that we did, it's the same type of thing.
Well, didn't Aaron say we couldn't take it out of project funds?
You might ask him, cause you should be able to. 'cause
I gotta call him
You gotta have,
Maybe we'll find out.
you gotta have, parts and stuff for maintenance and operation.
okay, I mean, we will have a contingency fund. Hopefully, we won't have to spend it.
Yeah,
We've already spent half of it.
But in the time being, along with this, Mike he works for almost every water system around.
yeah.
You name it, he's part of it in about a four-county area. He can beg and borrow from other water districts to get us going. The only bad thing about it is it's going to take him a minute to go get that part, come back and put it in. So,
I mean, and we're not talking about it, I mean, it's not pocket change, but it's not a huge amount of money either.
How much is it?
26,000.
that's pocket, that ain't pocket change.
Comparative to the price of the
Compared to
project, it's
18
nothing, but
million,
still,
yeah.
it's a decent sized chunk of money, to, you
Yeah.
know, especially if we can't use project funds.
It's really 28,000 FDEP.
Yeah, there's two different bids here. Wind water for some reason,
The
but
28,000, you can't look at that, cause
they put
we're a
tax in.
municipality, they can't have tax.
Right, so if you take the tax out,
Yeah,
they're
25.
around $1,000 a difference.
Yep.
And Mindy said that we've had an existing relationship with Windwater or something,
Mike does, we used him at the POA, I don't know
Oh.
Ferguson, and
yeah.
Well,
There's-
Ferguson supplied all the stuff that's here, that
Oh.
Hettinger's using.
I just, and Windwater back and forth a lot, so it's to get parts, and I don't, so.
Also, the chlorine tester, the automatic chlorine tester that he wanted to install, the one in the pump house is still there. So that's $5,000 we won't have to spend.
Good. So, I guess before we can take any action on these prices, these bids, we need to find out what money we can use.
What are these parts for?
Spare parts,
Repair
Just so
part.
you can have on hand, so you don't have to run to get them every
Right.
job.
Well, I mean,
Inventory.
if he has to go and get that part from Clay County.
Right.
Yeah, Clay County. He's got to drive over and get it or have somebody go get it and then then install it. So our customers, our residents may be out of water for
maybe a
an
few
hour
extra
to several
yeah,
hours.
Yeah, could cost an extra couple hours.
Mike, don't you remember us talking about getting all these spare parts and stuff for the project, for our operator, our water operator to have them here? You don't remember that?
I think something was mentioned.
It was,
I remember that.
I'm
Kinda.
not saying what, I was just wondering what they were for.
There's,
I think it was even before you. This has been probably 4 or 5 years ago when we were talking about it.
Oh, psh.
You were here, Mike.
But that I don't remember, I remember. I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
well, real easy to find out, we'll find out. And,
He's got CRS. Can't remember stuff.
Old age.
now, I suppose we could vote to approve it, assuming we can get the funding for it from the project, if you guys wanna go ahead and do that. Just wait.
It ain't, we don't.
It's not
have to
critical,
pay
but-
that.
It's not critical because right now, technically, everything's under warranty. The big concern is if some, the existing POA line breaks, ruptures, or somebody digs into it.
So we can table it till next meeting?
Yeah, table till we have an answer. Anything else on that? We'll have more water discussions later here, but, it's gonna be a long night. Citizen participation for anything that's on the agenda. Does anybody out there want to speak at this moment? Nope. Cool. Executive session time again for attorney-client matters. We probably need, what do you think?
10 minutes at most.
Really?
Talk quick.
Okay, I'll say 15
We'll
then,
go 15.
because we tend to go over, so.
I promise I won't go over.
I'll entertain a motion for
Make a motion, we go into executive for attorney-client privilege,
Land acquisition.
land
It's for
acquisition.
land acquisition.
Okay. And, for 15 minutes, returning to this room at 8:15.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we'll be back. Stay tuned. And we're back. So the next thing on the agenda,
You gotta say we're back with no action taken.
oh, we're back with no action taken. I forgot that we didn't take any action last time either. Water ordinance and stuff that we've been talking about for months. We need to get this put to bed, this month. Between this meeting and next meeting, we need to go over what we've got, or we need to have a special meeting or something. We need to get this put to bed this month and quit talking about it. So, Richard is kinda gonna take point on this.
I looked everything over. I think we made all the changes that we need to. I don't see anything with the ordinance. I did have a question on the resolution.
Okay.
Resolution, it says here that, and I think this was set up, I think I was in that meeting, pretty sure I was, but I don't remember talking about, after the first 3,000 gallons, so the meter fee would be $20 for all customers, and then that probably needs to be rewritten to all residential customers. And then the first $3,000, or, we're gonna make money fast. The first 3,000 gallons was $45, okay? And that was a total monthly minimum of $65. After that, it says each additional 1,000-gallon uses is $10 per thousand. I don't remember that.
Say, I keep trying to say it's 15 for each thousand, because that's what I remember,
I
but-
thought it was rock solid on 15 per thousand.
Yeah, that needs to change a bit.
And that's really the only two things that I'm thinking, the 2.5% annually. I think that was pretty much where we was at, because I remember seeing, in my mind, we had a specific amount that Lacine was gonna charge us for the first year, second year, and third year. You know, and it was, you know, about that 2.5% raise. Then, I guess the late fee of $2.50, that don't sound like much, but.
That's what we
anyhow.
charge for the sewer right now.
Okay. I mean, that was the only thing I had a question.
Did we get the different meter, the commercial different meter sizes, is that in there? When we talked
That
about
is not in there.
Okay, we talked about that last meeting, I
Right.
think.
We got, let's see, the
We'll go over
disconnect,
3
reconnect
times.
fee of $50 each occurrence. $2,000 water install fee, I remember that.
Does that include the meter? For 2,000?
I believe so.
I don't know what, I gotta look back through the ordinance and see where that
Well,
comes.
it's the meter and the tap.
So it's $2,000 for the meter, right?
In the tap, yeah.
And the tap.
Gotcha.
And then plus whatever it costs you to hook it to your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I think at the current price where we bought the meters, I think that was, we went to $2,000 to, pay an installer, say. Meter replacement. And I have to remember, I've got so much on my mind here lately. I don't remember what the meter replacement was. Meter replacement for $350. There was something that added to that.
There was a meter test charge for 350.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
What is that?
Well, if the people think that their meter is inaccurate
Oh, gotcha.
and not reading right, and if they wanna have it tested, they're gonna pay $350 to pull that meter out and go get it tested. If it comes back inaccurate, they don't pay anything. If it comes back accurate, they pay $350 for the labor.
Accurate within 2%.
I think that's it. So that's the only questions I had about all of this. I don't know if the rest of everybody else has read through the ordinances, but I think everything else has been pretty well updated.
On ordinance 276, where it says decommissioning existing water tanks, are we gonna define what decommissioning is?
They have,
In
we
the
had
ordinance?
talked about it, and decommissioning would mean that they have to be inspected by Matt
When they switch the hookups.
to make sure that
That they're not.
water tank is not connected.
Should it say disconnected instead of decommissioned? Because
It should-
decommissioned is a loaded
I
word.
didn't pick that word. That was the last council, but they, I like put out of service.
Yeah, I'd like to see that defined, that way somebody can't come along 5 years from now, another council and say, you gotta bury them, it says decommissioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we should be specific.
I agree.
I mean, that decommission to me is not the correct term. It's kinda like the water plant, they wanted to decommission the water plant. Well, okay, what does that mean? Well, the definition I got was turn it off.
Definition, they told me, was bulldoze it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody's expecting. I don't see, right now, I don't see that we need to bulldoze it. I mean, it's still a decent building, it's full of stuff in the way to store anything, but it could be used for storage. Or, Mike's Parts for that side of the lake,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know?
Yeah.
I see that it'd be a viable asset to the city.
Is there anything in it we still use?
Yeah, there's some test equipment that's in there, but
No, I
that's
mean-
it.
I mean, any connections or anything like that, any water running through it or anything?
Do what now?
No, there's no water going through it
Well,
there,
Any
but
valves
Well-
used?
okay, some of the valves are not sealing. We counted 2 check valves and 3 cutoff valves that some, if not all, are leaking into the tank underground and overflowing out.
I would just wonder if there's any way we just take all that stuff out of there and have more room in there? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That, there's one big tank in there that it ain't gonna come out willingly.
You can always get a scrapper, they'll go in and get it.
Well, yeah, they'll have to cut it apart, but you probably wanna clear
Is
the
that
room
tank
of all the
stainless steel?
chemicals.
is that a stainless steel can?
Oh, no.
What is it?
It's painted. I don't know what kind of steel, but it's painted. It's kinda like from my way back tells me it's a big, like a water softener.
I was
Filter.
just thinking, if we're gonna use it for storage, or whatever you wanna use it for, you just clear it all out. We don't need to keep any of that junk in there.
So, yeah, I mean,
It's an asset.
yeah.
So we need
Alright,
to make
so
sure we
the only
get,
thing we need to talk about is, getting in there is the commercial meters.
commercial meters, and are we going, is it $10 or $15 for the?
I don't
extra?
remember.
I thought you put a flyer out on that.
Well, when I put the flyer out, I was thinking 15 because that's what stuck in my head. But the ordinance does, or the resolution or whatever does say $10. So the question is that what we want? Or,
What's our cost?
not sure.
It ain't 15.
No, it's not 15, no.
No.
You know,
Well,
I don't,
Depending on how you look at it,
From leasing.
the water itself is
They're charging us.
367.
No, it's higher than that, 6 something.
Is it up to 6?
I don't want to overcharge people, but I also want to make sure we can make our payments.
Right.
Right,
You know, so we're at that.
and cover our overhead and,
I don't know, cause whoever's gonna use more than 3,000 gallons in a typical household is gonna have a pool.
or a watering, or a sprinkler system or something.
Typically,
They-
I've been on the POA and, just the wife and I, now, on a typical month, somewhere between 25 and 2,800. I've used as high as 3,300.
You know, I think they,
Not often, but I've gone over 3,000.
it seems like they say that an average family of 4 would use 5,000 gallons, I think is the number you're supposed to use to calculate, you know.
Realistic.
So there will be, you know, a family of 4 in a house is probably gonna use 5,000. You know,
I
people of
mean,
2 are gonna use.
whatever
2 to
everybody
3.
else thinks, I just don't remember the
Yeah.
$10.
I say, I don't wanna overcharge people, and I kinda think this is one of those places where we've got a little time before we have to start making payments, right?
Well, I mean,
So-
if everybody if we leave it as is, we can change it going down the road after we
That's-
get a year under our belt.
That's what I'm kinda thinking, you know, you look at it, and if we say, okay, well, if we continue this, we're gonna be short, then we can do something about it,
Right.
otherwise we leave it
Yeah,
as
but
is.
we still need to add the commercial meters.
Yeah,
So we're not changing it.
Or you can
No,
split it
we'll
down the
leave it
middle
as
to
is.
1250.
I thought you didn't wanna charge anybody anything.
I'm just trying to do middle.
I say, can we hear 12.5?
You know, my gut tells me to leave it at 10, and if we have to adjust later, we will. But that's up to you guys.
Yeah, I agree with that, because like you said, we got a little bit of time
Yeah.
to see how the numbers bear out.
I concur.
So
So-
are we charging, additional for commercial meters then?
We charge a multiplier based on the size of the meter. We determined that last meeting, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we just
Three
had,
times.
yeah,
I must have missed that.
yeah, we just didn't get it added in there, so we'll vote on that next time.
You know?
Anything else, or can we put this to bed next month when we vote?
What all do we need to do
Well,
to fix it tonight?
Ordinance,
Well, we have to get the resolution rewritten and all that stuff. We can't,
oh, sorry about that.
I think we have to get it all,
I have to change the decommission,
yeah, that.
It is actually an accurate description.
It's
you
an
Google
actual
it.
what?
Decommission is an accurate
Yes,
description
yeah, it is.
if you Google it.
Well, like I said, I want something specific that way.
Yeah,
Somebody 10 years down the road can't say, nope, you gotta bury him.
yeah, somebody can come in here later and say, oh, no, you gotta go bury them all of them, and then everybody's out here gonna have to go spend
Even though I
thousands
think
of
they
dollars
change
to
the
deal with
ones
it,
that they
yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, they can always, yeah.
That's
Okay,
what they call it in the industry, is decommission, even though all you're doing is unhooking.
yeah.
Unhooking it. I don't wanna bury it.
Maybe we just call it decommission and say, this means making sure it's disconnected from the system and no longer connected to your,
I think it'd be easier
Your
just
home.
to change.
Yeah, just
One
change
word.
it to disconnect from it.
there we go. All right,
Maybe, add, when you put disconnect, it has to be inspected.
Is there gonna be a charge for that?
no,
No.
the building permits and all for to connect the water is no charge. And the
For-
only reason we're
for
really
the-
doing was to make sure that people don't put their water
For
lines
the-
on somebody
the
else's
people who
property.
gets a meter.
I'm
there's no
just thinking
charge.
about Matt when he has to go inspect
Yeah,
everyone that
Be
gets
all right. They're quick,
decommissioned.
they're quick, they're not bad.
yeah, I think we're charging people enough for everything else, whether to charge them for.
They're not bad, they're easy, it's an easy inspection.
Do we need to hire you some help?
No, we're good.
Okay, related to the water, and this isn't on the agenda per se, it's just more of something that I'd kind of like us to consider doing, or we really can't do this ourselves, but what can we help with? There are a lot of people out there that, how do I pay to connect this to my home? You know, it's, the quotes that are out there, people are 2,000, 2,500, and that's if they don't run into rock. You know, and what we can't do is we cannot directly give anybody any money to help them. But what we can do is, you know, if a council member wants to lead this or something, to kind of work with other agencies that might be able to help people, maybe start up a fund that people could donate to help residents could apply to. The city would not take any responsibility for determining who can or can't, or who gets the money or not, but maybe we can kind of help coordinate something if somebody on the council wants to take that on. I know that John had done some research in the past, so I don't know if there's anybody else who wants to take that on, and
I'm pretty full up.
yeah, I figured you're pretty full. So I don't know, there's, you know, nobody has to speak up tonight, just something kind of throwing out there that, you know, if there any way we can help people, because there's a lot of people out there that aren't gonna be able to afford this. And it's also beneficial to us because if somebody can't afford to connect and they just don't pay, we're out that, you know, we got a meter sitting there we're getting nothing for, and that costs everybody else money too, so. Just something for everybody to kind of think about, and, you know, see if anybody would like to volunteer to lead that up, just as a help to the community, it would be greatly appreciated, I'm sure.
Yeah, that is definitely a concern. I have seen it out there on social media, that it leads to another concern. If they can't afford to connect, can they afford the service itself?
That's a point too, but $65 a month is easier to deal with than $2,000, $2,500
True.
right now.
Yeah,
And then on top of that, it's, you know, if they go out and get a loan, then, you know, to do it, then they're paying that loan on top of the $65.
Yeah.
You know, so I know there's community, groups out there that will do things,
I will
so,
say this, when I was looking into it and all that stuff, you know how many names I was given, or how many people I was given that couldn't afford it? 0.
well, I see a lot of.
And I
people-
asked everybody, I asked POA members, just tell me who needs this. Now, I've had some people on the Moon Lake say that they can't afford this, but
I've had people reach out to me on behalf of a friend, you know, what do we do if people can't afford to connect? You know, so I know that there are people out there that are asking the question.
What are you gonna do to them if they don't connect? Because you can't threaten to cut them off, you know, disconnect
No, I
them
mean,
because
the,
they're not-
the, well, the way the thing's written, after 90 days, they're gonna start getting charged.
Okay, well,
And then if they don't pay, you know, then we disconnect them, right? But then, like we
Well,
do
they're
on the
not
people that don't pay the sewer, because we have people that every month do not pay their lagoon fee, we turn it over to the state and we get the money from their taxes or whatever, or they add it to their property
We
taxes or
only
whatever.
have one of those that I know of.
Is there a way, if, I know it's written within 90 days, but is there a way for us to fudge on that a little bit?
We
If
did say-
somebody
Nope.
applies or,
I
We
thought
gotta
we did
make our
say that
payments.
they could
Oh, I
apply
know.
for an extension if there was valid circumstances.
Yeah.
You know,
it
if, like, they need to get a survey and
can
it's 6 months
apply-
out.
they
can
can
come to
apply for an
council.
extension?
Yeah, they can come to us and say, hey, I need to get a survey because I don't have one. It's 6 months out, you know, and they'll come to council and we'll approve it or we won't.
Mindy, how many calls have you received from people that say they can't afford to hook up?
A few.
A few, less than 10 or, yeah.
And for every person that calls, there's probably 2 or 3 that are thinking it, you know. You know, it's like, there's nothing that we can do officially as a city to give them money to do this, but, you know, can we
No.
do anything to point them to resources or anything to, you know?
I have a question about something else. On our $2,000 hookup, were we gonna put in a mechanism to, where you could make payments on that?
I remember hearing that
Yeah,
discussed.
yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, because with the old mayor, that's the agreement we had,
Yep.
that if they were gonna give these new free meters to just whoever, instead of the people that actually needed them and couldn't afford them, then we would put in a payment plan. Mindy, you were there when we were talking, me and,
When we talked about it, you guys never decided anything on it.
right.
I think Cruise Software does it. I would have to double check.
That's something we'd need to establish, you know, how that works. I'm assuming that we would, I don't know how interest works. I know sometimes, and Jamie's question for Jamie probably, if you put somebody on a payment plan or something like that, do you have to charge interest because otherwise it's not a legal deal?
Technically, no.
Okay, good. I don't want to charge interest if we don't have to, you know. But just because we can doesn't mean we should. I just wonder if we have to,
No, you don't
you know.
have to.
If we don't have to, I would prefer not to charge interest.
And is that $2,000 fee going towards payment of the loan or?
No, that's paying for the
That's
meter
paying for
and
the meter and the labor.
and the
put it
labor, so
in.
the city would be out that money until we got it paid back. So depending on how we fund that, we might have to charge interest if we're getting charged interest. That's questions we just have to figure out the
And
answers
after,
to before we
after
can
we put in
officially
a few
say.
meters and see how much we get charged to install them meters, we may have to change that price too.
Right,
But
and
that- this is
that's something we got a
for-
little
this is for our
time on.
Fixed income and our low income residents out here.
Right.
But that's something we've got a little time on because that won't happen until the project's
But if we
done.
were gonna do that, then we
So-
would have to have them show proof of income so that, you know,
There had to be some kind of vetting process.
Yeah.
That becomes a little more hairy though, because
I say we just do it.
I don't wanna be
you
responsible
do
for
it,
that.
you do it for one, guys, you can't do it for. I understand, let me preface something, I understand from a moral standpoint and everything else you can possibly think, but you're running a real fine line if you're gonna do it for people that can't afford it versus people that can,
Yeah.
and not give that option to both.
Fair Housing Act
Moral
says
versus
you
legal,
have to
too,
offer it to
Well-
both of them.
Somehow butts on a daily basis.
Something else we have to think of too, the more people we put on the system, the cheaper it becomes. Because we get, you know, the minimums and stuff like that.
Right, they'll be paying
So,
their monthly.
right, so that has to be factored into it too, that, you know, even if it costs us a
Hey,
little bit to
Bubba,
do this.
that's 3 years.
Hmm?
That's 3 years worth of meter that you're giving away, the 2,000,
I'm not saying giving it away,
if they don't pay it or whatever.
well, yeah,
It takes, that's 3 years that they could be on it. Are they even gonna be there for 3 years? So,
yeah, I mean,
Just
all
something to think
all
about.
valid points, all things we need to consider before we say, yeah, we're gonna do it. But like I said, we've got a little time to figure that out.
but he's absolutely right. If you offer it to anyone, you have to offer it to everyone.
I'd like to figure this out sooner than later.
Hmm?
I don't wanna save it for 3 years down the road because it'll get lost.
Well, no, but we don't have to decide it tonight, it's something we
Right,
can,
right,
you know,
right, I
we can,
understand
we need to do some research on it and figure out. And does anybody volunteer to take on doing that research and figuring that out? Because otherwise we can sit here and talk about it, and nobody says, hey, I'll run with that, then it's not gonna happen. So does anybody wanna volunteer to take that piece on?
I will.
Okay. Put Mike down for that.
But what all do I need to look for?
That's what I was asking.
Well, I'd say you
What
probably start with
exactly are
Jamie
you
and figure out the legal ramifications for it, and then we'll have to talk about finance. How do we end up, because it's gonna cost us money to do this. It's not like,
I'd start
it's just a
with
city
Google.
employee out there doing something that we're paying anyway.
I'd start with Google.
Yeah.
Well, and you did bring up a good point. If they're not there for 3 years, then do you have to put a mechanics lien on the property?
There would probably have to be something in there, and again, we're spitballing things that,
Yeah.
Maybe, if you do this, then you agree that if you sell the house, you have to pay it, you have to pay it off with the proceeds of the house, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and I don't know how all that legal stuff works, that's what he's for.
Yeah.
We can come with all the ideas we want, he's the one to tell us if we can do it or not.
Do you think the people that could afford it would actually just pay the 2,000 and not just go on payments to be going on
Well,
payments?
if you look at it, some people's like, well, I'd rather just pay an extra $50 a month for however long than give you this $2,000 right now. Especially if it's not gonna cost them interest. It's free loan. Even if they had that money in the savings account, they're making interest on it versus,
Right.
so.
The only way you could do it without having to offer it to everyone is you gotta go through an NGO.
The what?
You gotta go through an NGO,
What's an NGO?
a non-government
Ah,
organization. So if we could steer people to somebody that they could pay that money up front.
which goes along with the connection assistance thing.
You could always ask for a deposit, so much down, 500 down or something.
But I think the hard part is, it's one of those where you ask if people can afford it, just pay it. I mean, it's like hospital bills. I do it all the time, and I freely admit it. I'll call a hospital and be like, you want $2,000? Well, what if I pay it today? How much is it gonna cost me? Well, we can put you on a payment plan, fine, $5 a month. And I go, okay, well, you wanna pay $1,000 a day? Sure, I'll pay $1,000 a day. There's no problem. I mean, the fact is if I can reduce what I have to pay, I'm gonna reduce what I have to pay. That whole program was originally designed for people that couldn't afford it, and they can't ask you whether or not you can afford it. You can call in and ask, do I have to pay in full, or how much can I get off?
Right.
I mean, it's like if somebody offered you going, that's $2,000 to fix your car, but if you pay a day, it's only gonna cost you $1,000, you're gonna give 2,000? No, you're gonna give 1,000.
Right.
I mean, so it's a factor you gotta look at.
I am, completely behind helping people figure out how they're gonna pay for this in any way, shape, or form that we can do. Like I said earlier, my decision framework, is it legal, is it gonna cost us money, and, what was my other, I'm drawing a blank, my third piece. Don't even remember my own rule, but, so it's getting late. It's that whole question, if we can do it, it's not gonna cost money, it's legal, and it benefits the citizens, there we go. Most important one, does it benefit the citizens?
Yeah.
So that's my whole thought process on everything, so.
Do we know how many meters have been placed that haven't been hooked up yet? Do we have any idea?
I don't think anybody's hooked up yet to not the brand new meters.
None of the new meters are hooked up yet.
I'm gonna try to be the first.
That's what I was getting at
Well,
earlier.
your 90
when I-
days is running.
They get on my
I
brother-in-law,
already
he's
beat
one
you
of the-
though. Minnie beat you too.
Yeah.
Well, those don't count, I'm talking new
No,
meters.
oh, they count.
No, new meters,
No,
not
they
existing
had
meters.
new meters too.
Newly installed, meters that weren't already
Okay.
on the POA system, there we go.
Anyway, let's move on.
Let's
It's
move
getting
on.
late.
We're getting punch drunk here. Okay, are we done with all this? Then we'll go to old business. So there's a couple things on old business. One is talking about our comprehensive plan and the Planning and Zoning Commission. Our contract with Olson, which has been the consultant that we've used for the P and Z forever, expired at the end of last year. So they've sent forward a new one, I think it's in your packet, that they want us to engage with. I'm questioning whether we should. I don't know that we need a consultant for most of these things we're going to do. Maybe engage them on occasional things, but for stuff like tiny homes, do we really need a consultant to tell us anything on that? There's ordinances out there, there's stuff in the thing. I don't want to spend money on consultants for things we don't need to spend money on consultants for. That said, I think we should look at what other cities our size are doing. I don't care what they're doing in Johnson County. What are folks in Lynn County, Miami County doing? What are cities doing there that are similar to our size? So my gut is that we put a hold on that and we do a little research to try to figure out what, if anything, we need a planning and zoning consultant for.
Well, just so I say it, whether it's Olson, whether it's another one, if they're doing it per hour, you could find a company like, and you can have them on retainer, to where if you have a issue and you need it done, and you need their help, they're on standby. You could go, they say it's a 5-year contract, which is way too long, but I'm saying 5-year contract, 4.5 years, you don't reach out to them, so what? You're not losing any money, but that 4.5 year mark, there's some issue that you need them for, then that's a safety net that you have.
And I don't have a problem with something like that, but my impression of the.
Isn't that how their contract was?
Yes,
Well, my understanding of how P and Z Commission has been working is they reach out to the consultants for everything.
well, there's a difference on the city, this governing body is the one that is hiring them, not planning and zoning.
Yeah.
So, they don't get to dictate when that's done.
Right.
And that has been what's happened in the past, is they just went there without ever letting us know.
Yeah, and I don't like that.
Yeah, but whether it's this company or a different company, or not one at all, if you decide to hire one, that company understands that the contract is with the governing body, not the planning and zoning. Now, the goal is to work together, obviously.
And that's not even a conversation with planning and zoning, that is a conversation with, as of now, Olson.
So, that's just something to think about. Like I said, not just saying hire them, I'm just saying in general, whoever you hire, if it's an hourly contract, you don't have to use them.
Right.
Just have a contract with them in case they're needed.
Well, part of what they sent was just a general contract and then a specific thing around a workshop for our comprehensive plan update. And I think the number on that was $30,000, which is,
And the contract,
Oh, you're right.
it gave a list of the hourly rates of the different levels of engagement, but those were also, the contract stated it's a multiplier of 3.15 times the hourly rate, and the hourly rates are pretty hefty, looking at them, so, based off of what we're looking at now, I don't think it would be wise for us to engage in a contract like this.
yeah, I think we should do some due diligence and look into other companies. Well, first, I think we should start with other cities. Other cities in ours, see who they use, what they do, because a lot of this is not that complicated, so.
What?
I thought that maybe it was just in some of the emails.
That's what it's budgeted.
There was an email or a conversation somewhere that maybe you weren't on, that number was there. So, does anybody on the council want to look into that particular,
I will.
okay? I appreciate that. A few months ago, or a couple months ago, we talked about tiny homes, and we didn't do anything with it. I know we asked P and Z to kind of look at it, but then the whole consultant thing came up, and so I don't know where we want to take that. I don't know, Jamie, from a legal standpoint, does it have to go through P and Z?
I would send it through P and Z, yes.
Okay.
I definitely would.
I thought we already did.
Well, they want to talk to their consultants.
They don't want to make a decision on their own, they need somebody else to make it for them.
Yeah. So
If that's the case, why would we send it back to them?
That's a very good question. It's a fair question. It's one you get to answer, because you don't have to send it,
Do we know what their questions were?
no,
No.
they just want to talk to the consultant.
So
I mean,
I
you were
would say-
there, am I misrepresenting?
I'd say that puts it back in our court. If this council wants to move forward with allowing, because all they do is give us a recommendation anyway. And Mr. Matthew over there, he's already talked
That'll
about
work,
all the
yeah.
regulations and stuff for it.
And did you create a sample ordinance, or,
I did not.
okay,
I was waiting until you guys made a decision on what you might wanna do. Cause you do have an ordinance to change that zoning for the R2 and R1 lots, or the R2 lots, not the R1 lots.
Right.
Huh?
I would have to go through them.
Of the,
Wouldn't that go through planning and zoning to change the zoning?
to change your zoning?
Mhm.
Yeah, technically.
You don't have to go through them, they're just a, they're just a, committee
Committee.
that gives a recommendation to
Yeah.
council.
So we could send it back to them and say, we need the recommendation, no consultants. And then tell them they need to bring it back to the.
What if we have Matthew create an ordinance? We take a look at it, and if we like what we see, then we send it to planning and zoning and see what they say.
I think that's fair.
Man, that's way more,
Effic-
diplomatic than what I was
efficient.
gonna do. I was just gonna say, getting ready to make a motion, we didn't do it loud.
Yeah, well, that's,
So, yeah, so if Matthew, if you could get that before next council meeting, and then we can submit it to them. I mean, we're not in a rush to do this, but I don't want it to get forgotten either.
Are these under 600 square feet?
Yeah, what'd you say, 250 to 599 or something like?
200 to 599.
200 or 599?
Yep.
Are we gonna do all this for nothing?
Huh?
Matthew, take
Are
your
we gonna
time
do
and
all
hurry
this
up.
for nothing? POA said no?
There's land that's not inside the POA. We can't just concentrate on what's inside those
Well, I
gates.
know, but that 99% of it's inside. of it.
Well, yeah, but there are developers potentially interested in outside doing something, so.
I think you'd be shocked if you pass something. I think you'd be shocked to see, you'll find developers that will come build the tiny homes, and I think you'd be shocked
Yeah.
when people actually will purchase.
Right.
Because of the cost of homes, everybody knows that it's astronomical.
Yeah.
And this is a measure where people can get affordable homes and be able to get in something.
200 square feet is pretty small.
People are living in campers smaller than that,
I know.
Yeah.
and these are more energy efficient, they're gonna be cheaper for them in the long run.
How many square feet
You know.
did you say, 200?
200? That's what he said, 200 to 599.
200 square feet is the minimum square footage in the ICC code book that a person can live in. You take a bedroom, a bathroom, and a kitchen, which are your minimum living requirements. It's actually 190 square feet is the minimum, but I went easy with 200 because a 10 by 20 shed. In a 10 by 20 building, standard building materials make
Yeah.
200 is what, I mean, why would you buy 2 by 10s and cut it off?
You think a single person that, somebody like Matthew, is a single person, that is a minimalist and doesn't want all this stuff, it's perfect for them. And it's gonna be a lot more energy efficient for them on their bills. It's actually gonna be better off for the city because it's gonna have a higher, assessment value than a camper will. I mean, if you wanna get down to the financial side of things. Okay,
Yeah,
so,
They still gotta pay for,
Yeah.
3,000 gallons of water.
Well, that would require
they're gonna have really green
more
grass.
line to be run,
That require what?
more line to be
It
run.
depends on where they're at.
Yeah, it depends on where they're at.
So, we have several things yet to talk about.
What's that?
I'll just answer John. I said they would be outside the gates.
They'll be outside of the gate?
Picking on them.
Mhm. Yeah.
Why, wait, I wanna see what's up with outside of the gates.
It would have to be outside the
Going
gate,
outside the
Why would
gates.
they have to be outside the gate?
because the POA has a 20 by 30
Yeah,
covenant.
POA cannot reduce theirs,
And I'm not
because their
saying- I'm
covenants
not
say
saying-
600 square foot.
The POAs has nothing to do with us.
I know,
So-
Mike was asking if we do this, it's for nothing because the POA still's not gonna allow them. I said, well, there's more
Well, the
property here than the
POA's
POA.
actually right now supposed to be looking into their covenants.
They are.
And they're gonna find out that their covenant is not valid.
I'm not saying they
It hasn't
won't
been
allow
for
it,
years.
because I said that about something else, and they said, yeah, we would have. So,
They were all set to,
I'm just
from my
saying.
understanding, and I don't wanna be misquoted here, my understanding is they were all set to allow it on a trial basis until one of the members threatened to sue. And I might be wrong on that, but that's what I heard.
Well,
So-
that member can threaten us, who's he gonna sue?
The POA, because they're violating their covenants and gonna reduce his property
Their
values.
covenants that has no legal bearing.
That's for them to, I mean, that's outside of us. That's why I say, I'm not worried about what the POA says about this, because there is land outside the city right now that could be brought into the city. Developers are interested, should something like this happen. So, you know, the city we're gonna price everybody out of here if all we do is care about what's inside the POA and not try to grow some outside. That's just the long and short of it. It is almost 9 o'clock. There are still 4 items on new business. One of them definitely needs to probably be talked about tonight, the Waterfill Wi-Fi. The other can be postponed to the next meeting if we choose to do so. Or we can just get all this stuff done and be here till 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight. Let you guys decide on
Why
what
is
you want
it
to do.
gonna take?
Well, here's my fear. Ever since you went to 2 meetings, they've gotten longer.
Because there's a lot to do.
I don't know if you know. Yeah.
Agenda, and then
So,
it starts adding
anyhow.
all this stuff.
And see, I can say that because I voted against it, I believe. Anyway,
Just because you go on
so
your cruises.
we need to get her done. We need to get
Okay.
stuff done, and we need to quit having these little sidebar discussions. And I can be your sergeant at arms at this if you'd like.
Give him the gavel.
You want the gavel? I don't like to use it.
Well, I am a pretty good shot.
So what's the next thing we talk about?
Okay, next thing to talk about. Let's talk about the Waterfill Wi-Fi. We need, he's been talking to,
Brett,
and
who's out in the audience.
and Brett, yeah, Brett out there, yeah. You wanna get up and talk about why we need this, or?
Sure.
Okay,
Just a second.
it is if you turn it on.
Okay, Waterfill Wi-Fi is needed for 2 things. One is for Mike Page and the water system. Was it testing
Chlorine test.
equipment? Number 2 is the camera system.
Okay. Let me interject something here real quick. He thinks he can leave that water tester in the plant and not move it.
Okay.
So therefore, he doesn't need Wi-Fi in there. I don't know if that changes things.
That's up to you guys.
Okay.
If you want to remotely access what happens at the Waterfill station, then we will need it.
Okay.
You need it for the cameras, right?
Oh,
Yes.
And that, one of the things you've got inside that cabinet there is a doorbell cam. That if we have this Wi-Fi, one thing that would allow them is somebody having a problem, like when it froze up the other day, they could push the button and whoever's got the phone could say,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Whoever would be designated as
Right.
on-call service technician, it would go straight to their phone.
Alright, so let's move this along. How much are we talking?
400 max, right?
Set up 400.
Yeah, $400, that's it?
Yeah.
a month?
No. That's the install stuff. That's purchasing the equipment from leasing People's Telecommunications. If we purchase their equipment, they also service it. They do a monthly rent thing. I think it's $20 or $30 for the equipment.
For the router and all of that good stuff.
Don't hold
So
me
if
to
you
all
want to
those
do-
numbers,
it's
but
$400 plus a month,
roundabout.
20.
Whatever
Number
internet
there.
is, 60.
I have no idea.
There's
So-
several things.
When I first moved here, People's Internet was 130.
It's still 125.
Depends on what speed you get. And
yeah, so we would have the 100 megabytes per second
And it's through who?
speed through People's
Oh, through
Telecommunications.
people, so it's $125 a month?
Yeah, that's what I pay.
So another question I have on that, we talked about putting real cameras down at the treatment plant and inside the treatment plant too, just because that's access to our water, Would that same fee cover if we had to put it down there too, or would that be an additional,
That'd be an additional install.
an additional monthly fee or just an additional equipment fee?
Both.
You don't have
Any
Wi-Fi down there.
location you add internet to is gonna be that additional fee.
You don't think we could get a deal, that,
You
Can we
can't
do
run
it's
an
the same
satellite?
entity,
access- Run an access point, and then depending on how far it is, it's still valid.
So they're quite, I don't think you could get,
Well, I just saw Starlink is like $45 a month.
I don't know.
It was an advertisement around here.
we should probably look into
Yeah,
that.
While we're installing that, could we put up some night lighting up there at the fill station?
I thought there was a light up there on the fill station
So Brett, I
itself.
have
Somebody was just saying it was
There-
dark up
I have
there
a
at night.
AT&T hotspot.
No, I thought there was that
I
one
pay
little light
20
on the
bucks
building.
a month.
No.
That would work, right?
No. It will not do uploading of videos.
You're downloading, so we need to
Upload, downloading, does not work with Wi-Fi cards like that. I personally have tried everything, to get around that and use the, Wi-Fi cards and hotspots. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You're saying $400 plus $125 a month.
Well, so Starlink shows residential 100 megabits is
Okay.
starting at 55 a month. Commercials are obviously probably gonna
Okay,
be higher.
so let me ask this. There's a SIM card in the fill station,
Correct.
and we're paying a phone charge on it. With this Wi-Fi, do we still have to have that SIM card?
You would not need that.
Are
So
we
we
sure?
would
Because
save
that's what
money.
runs the credit card system, and that's what FlowPoint had to put in there to be able to, for their system to run.
So it's just an internet connection?
Well, we had to put a SIM card in there,
Which is just like your cell phone.
yeah, so that their credit card reader system could connect to the internet to do its thing. And also to update their system online and all that kind of stuff.
Something tells me that
If-
we could call that guy and we
I
could
would-
ask
I
him.
don't, yeah,
I'd
I don't know
call
if he did
them.
that in lieu of us not having internet.
Yeah, we
Why
need,
we
we
had
need,
to
there's,
do that?
yeah, we got questions to ask.
I'd call them, they might have some proprietary software that's
Yeah.
what it
Run
runs on, I
Verizon
don't
and
know.
see what they could set you up at. We've already got a plan with them. They may be able to do something for us.
You really wanna talk to them again? You really wanna talk to them
No, but
again?
he's, but Brett's saying that the hotspot ain't gonna work for,
I didn't say hotspot, they may have other options, but you gotta call Verizon
Business.
Business, not that,
consumer,
you know, on the phone.
consumer retail.
Good luck.
Okay, so,
It's not good luck. I picked up the phone and called him with the right number and I had it, we had it
Right.
activated in 2 minutes.
so basically, we need it, but we need to look at our options. That's kind of what
yeah,
I'm
what
gathering.
Richard's getting at is if we don't have to have that anymore, that would come off.
Yeah,
Is there a monthly fee on that?
$40.
Yeah. And Starlink for Business is 55 a month too. I don't know what their equipment costs, but that's an option as well.
the only thing with the
Well-
satellite transmission is if you have a storm or a heavy wind or something, it can interfere with.
Is that as much of a problem with
reception.
these low Earth? Because these Starlinks satellites orbit way lower than traditional satellites. So I don't know if that's an issue or not. We'd have
We
to
need
look
to find
into,
somebody who
When
uses
one of them
Starlink.
big
Have
old
to-
Kansas Thunderheads come over,
we're gonna have to look
nothing
into,
works.
yeah.
Fiber optic.
I'd
say the
say,
most
People's does.
reliable is gonna be People's.
yeah,
That's
People's
why
is
we
definitely the
moved
most
to
reliable.
People's.
There's no
Yeah.
question there. So,
It sounds good.
Done.
If Peoples is gonna be what we need, I mean, $125 a month for a couple $100,000 worth of equipment up there. And
like-
for safety.
yeah.
Well, we need to,
Is there a government plan that we can get a discount for multiple?
Yeah, that
There's-
125 is just residential.
Yeah,
there's
I-
also
They have
another
charged like 10
issue,
bucks more for commercial.
the door,
But I have the
the
highest speed
door on the
read
pay
too, so
station.
Yeah, that's what we
Nobody,
have too.
nobody locks it. It's been found open several times. I don't know how waterproof the keypad is.
So, are we
Goodness.
gonna make a move on this or not?
Well,
I think we need to do
I mean,
some
we
more
need to,
research.
because we need to move forward, because whether or not that chlorine tester stays where it is, or whether, Mike moves it, it's gonna have to have internet access to report. And that report is gonna have to be documented with, KDHE and the powers to be. So, everything that was at the water plant in that building, they just cut wires and took it. So,
So, not to interrupt you, but I make a motion that we allow Cindy, or
oh,
Mindy,
goodness.
Cindy,
Mindy
Everybody's tired.
Wow.
Calm down.
to enter into a contract with Peoples for internet up at Wi-Fi or whatever you,
Fuel station.
at the fill station.
Anybody second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, move on to the next thing.
Now get it put in, Brett.
I'll make the couple.
You know, find out if they're gonna switch, we don't need that other card.
That'll have to go through the
I'll have
flow
to-
point.
I'll have to email Flow Point.
You'll have to ask them directly.
And that's at one place or both?
That's at one place.
That'll only be in one place.
We could maybe look into some, I know there
Well,
are
I mean,
some transmitters that we can
if
beam
it-
wireless signals great
They can just-
distances.
Is that
Well,
hard to
if we're gonna
move?
hit the other place
Well-
anyway.
It's gotta be plumbed in from what I can see. You gotta have the water circulation shouldn't be a problem at the fill station. Basically, if we leave it in the water plant, we gotta have a faucet running like it's gonna freeze tonight, to keep the water fresh.
But he can do that up there?
He can do that at the fill station too.
I'd say it makes more sense to have it at the fill station.
It'd probably be better there.
All right, what's the next thing, Bob?
Next thing is we talked about it last time, and I'll just get it so we just don't lose about, I don't think we actually officially talked about it, was a setback for the septic tanks and ordinance on that. We need to get that written, and get that in place too.
I thought we.
Yeah, I thought we already,
We didn't have we didn't have an ordinance or resolution, I think we talked about it, but.
I know, we talked about it, I thought you were doing the
Yeah, well, we're waiting to pass on it.
Mindy?
All you have to do is
Well, that
add
was-
to your current ordinance. You just have to add the new setback into the current ordinance.
Okay.
You don't have to dissolve an old one and write
This
a new one.
ordinance-
You can just
The
add.
ordinance on was holding tanks, sewer holding tanks have to be 25 feet away from
We have an
Do-
ordinance on that.
Yeah.
Matthew can get you the ordinance number.
Get that for me, would you?
Yeah, if you're just adding to it, then.
Yeah, all you
Yeah.
have to do is add
We
to
don't
that
have to-
ordinance. You don't have to
Okay,
write a new one.
so-
Yeah,
We can vote on that tonight?
I can find the ordinance.
no, I'll make a motion that we allow Mindy
Mindy?
and Lister and Matthew to make an
Well,
amendment
if he,
to
if
our
he,
ordinance.
hey, if he gets the ordinance number, we'll just put the ordinance number in there, and
You done with it? Yeah.
we'll be done.
But it
You
has
have
to
to
be
change.
an amendment to the ordinance,
Huh.
not an ordinance.
That's
Never
Mr. Legal over
amended
there.
an Ordinance.
So the question is,
To change the setback from for the holding tank to the water lines to 25 feet. Is that a new ordinance, updating an ordinance?
to be clean, I would cancel the old one and create a new one to make it clean. You start going down the road of, let's amend ordinances, oh my God. It would give me a really bad headache, along with Mindy.
Okay.
She doesn't know that yet, but if that was starting to happen, it would suck.
Okay, so
Alright, so write
you'll have it
second
written
on
up and we'll vote on it next time.
Okay. Do what, Matt?
I'll get it taken care of.
Thank you.
Next, okay. Before I get started on this hot topic, I want to be absolutely clear. No project has been proposed, no project has been approved, there is no vote tonight. This is a rules first, project second. I'm presenting a framework, not a deal. What this is for what we're calling a technology and advanced industrial overlay district. As we all know in the news, all this going on is talking about data centers coming and battery storage and all those things coming. The county's put a moratorium on it. A lot of cities are having a lot of heartburn over it. What I'm talking about here is let's be proactive about this. We are in an ideal location, close access to power, that they will come for us. Especially with all the counties and everything putting moratoriums on. these people that are trying to put data centers in, et cetera, are gonna come looking. Versus being reactive to when somebody comes up and makes a phone call and says, hey, let's do this, we wanna do this. Let's put our framework in place, and if anybody wants to come to us, this is the rules they're going to have to abide by. So, we sit in a region with a lot of power infrastructure that's desired. The power plant over here is full of excess power. So we are kind of in a ideal situation for something to come for that, but we don't want to just say, hey, yeah, let's allow this, and then all the horrible things that could or could not happen. So our job is to talk about and having a set of rules and protections and a process in place before someone shows up with a proposal. What this is not industrializing our city. The city will remain residential, lake-centered community. This is not approval for any type of data center, battery storage facility, AI facility, or any type of project. It's not a city-right zoning. It would not be near the POA land or the lake-centered recreational area. It would not be on our city-owned property adjacent to the new lagoons. It would not be on Ullery. It's not a vote tonight. This is informational and starting a conversation between council and the citizens. So what it is, it's a legal framework that says, if a project ever comes, here are the rules, the protections, and the process residents can count on. So some of the safeguards, and this is awfully small on here. So basically, we have a rules first framework. Here's the rules. People are concerned about water usage. They're concerned about electricity costs. They're concerned about noise. All these things. This is us putting a set of rules in place to protect these things. Things like a minimum of 500-foot setback from homes, 1,000-foot setback for a large facility. It applies across county lines, dark sky provisions so that we won't have this great big light on the horizon. A public process built in before it even goes to P&Z. We would have at least 2 to 3 public meetings where people come ask questions, informational. Infrastructure guardrails around water usage, no cost shifting to residents, developer funded upgrades, battery storage, enhanced safety, all these things would be part of our rules. Where it could go, this is going to be the big things, is that right now there's no land inside our city currently that would be appropriate for something like this. There is a lot of land on the east side of 69 Highway that would be appropriate for this and not really for anything else. I'm not saying that somebody's already came to us and said, hey, we want to put one here. But if somebody was going to put one somewhere close to power, that's where somebody would want to put one. So especially the fact that Lynn County's put a moratorium on this, an unincorporated county, if somebody wants one, they've got to come through a city. Like I said, it won't go near the POA, not on our land. Currently have, that's kind of repeating myself there. And let's talk about the reason we would even want to consider something like this. And it's all about the money. The financial case, the kind of money that this could bring our community would, we residents hurting with the fact of, the water rates, with the lagoon project that we're gonna have to start paying for, potentially out of property taxes. A project like this could fund paying down or paying off those loans. It could fund, maybe even sewer expansion to more residents. There is a city in Illinois, and I kind of modeled what I'm proposing here after what they did. Manuka, I think it is Illinois, and they did something similar to this, and they just got, I think it was a $13 million check for their parks. And the citizens there have no problems with it. I would entertain, as we continue talking about this, to bring somebody from that city, either here physically or virtually, to answer citizens' questions, not just city officials, but residents of that city and any other city that would. I wanna make sure that, you know, I'm not saying that we should definitely do this. I'm saying we should consider this, and if we're gonna do it, we should put a framework in place so that anybody wants to come to us, they already know, cause my understanding, what these places are looking for right now is power and a community willing to let them come in and be partners with them. Most of them are not looking for huge tax breaks anymore because it's getting harder and harder for them to find somewhere to go. Most of them are not using vast amounts of water. They either use closed systems versus, the thing about the 1,000,000 gallons of water a day, that is a lot of the old evaporative cooling data centers. To where basically they would just spread water vapor into the air to keep the plant cool. A lot of them have switched over to being closed loop or air cooled or a combination. Part of what we would put in place here is they would have to do studies, they would have to do all these things to make sure that they're not gonna negatively impact us. And this is, you know, this would be a zone that we would create, and it could get applied somewhere. We control where that has. It's not a blanket. If we create this zone, somebody can put it anywhere as long as they stay 500 feet away, for example. This is not that. The kit would still have to go through council and P&Z before we approved a project to actually come in. This is just laying the ground rules and a framework that would give us the capability to do that in a proactive, not a reactive way. So, steps already taken. I have created a draft ordinance that Jamie has been reviewing, and I know he's got some tweaks to it. I have created a resident FAQ and policy summaries all written up. These things are ready to go as soon as I get approval from Jamie to share them out with everyone. And not just council, these will be shared with the community all at the same time. This is gonna be 100% open, transparent. I want feedback. I know it's going to be a hot topic. And I wanna listen to everybody, and I want everybody to listen to us as we go through this potential game changer for our city if things go well. So tonight, just wanted to inform you guys about this. We'll refine the ordinance based on Jamie's review, P&Z studies and recommendations, the mapping where exactly it could apply, where it can't apply. Like I said, you know, it would not be right next to the POA. It won't be on Ullery. It will be as far buffered from our city as possible, and still, you know, within a new area of our city. So we won't be light pollution, we won't have a lot of noise. There's dampeners that can be put in place so that the noise pollution that people are concerned about is not an issue. We would make sure there's at least 2 required public information meetings before P&Z even does their review, and public hearings before any council vote. Bottom line is, the residents are gonna see every step of this way and be listened to every step of this way. And I think that's all I have on that. I kinda went through it quickly because it's getting late. Questions, thoughts, concerns?
Let me add this, and I know it's late, but I wanna go home. But I wanna make something extremely clear to the council. Mayor and I discussed this, I mean, I'll be very blunt, I was probably the most ignorant person when it came to this stuff. When the mayor first brought this up to me, I spent hours and hours and hours just trying to educate myself, and I'm still not educated. That's pretty much with anything I do though, and you just keep learning and learning, learning more. The reality is, there are so many misconceptions about how these programs work and how things go. All I would ask, frankly, from the community and from everybody in here is, let's educate ourselves first, and then make decisions. The fact of the matter is, one of the biggest topics that I have dealt with when I talk to other cities and everything else is people in the community are so concerned about their electricity going up and all those other things. The fact is, you guys don't set the electricity. With Evergy, they actually have a industrial rate that they do. Those people get that industrial rate would go to the data center, does not go to the community. So there are so many things that are being said that are in fact not correct. So I think one of the biggest things is to make sure with that transparency that the education is there so an informed decision can be made. The fact of the matter is, in Osawatomie, the projection they have, because they went and did a fiscal study, is the city itself is going to generate roughly $10 million a year from that 500-acre plan they're planning on putting in place. Another 10 million is roughly gonna go to the county with different taxes they're gonna levy against that as well. In addition, anywhere from $7 to $9 million is gonna go to the school system. And they have gone through and done everything they can. And a lot of things I just brought up when it comes to either the electric, understanding that it doesn't go to residential, understanding that it's a cooling system, it's not where they just push the water. All those things have to be discussed because the mayor's right, it is gonna be a hot topic. And there's gonna be a lot of potential pushback. But a lot of that, it could be very strong feelings about correct things that are being said. But the majority of the stuff that we've seen, at least that I've seen, in talking to other city attorneys, even where they put moratoriums in place, and it wasn't because they don't want it there, it's because people don't understand, and that's why they put it in place, which they're losing out on an opportunity. So I think the biggest thing for everyone to understand is get the education out, so people can make that informed decision.
And I think there's a lot of misconception too about what a data center actually is.
Correct.
People don't even know what it is. A data center is a large building full of servers, in its simplest terms. You know, everybody here uses a data center every day of their life. If you get on Facebook, you order from Amazon, you order from Walmart, you know, you go check the weather. Everybody's going through a data center. They're not, you know, it's a building full of servers. That's pretty much what it is. You know, it'll bring some jobs, not a lot. Be a lot of construction jobs if it were to happen. A few high-paying tech jobs would be in there. And I know there's some tech people out here that would probably like to drive a lot less distance to work than to the city, so.
The city also controls, one of the big things is, the city controls how it's done. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if the city wants to do something like this, they can mandate and direct any company that wants to come in, that they have to use a proper cooling system. That there's always concerns of noise, that there's that noise cancellation system that's put in, which costs more money to that corporation, but the city has the ability to put those things in place where people have these concerns in other cities to make sure that doesn't happen. So all those things, that transparency aspect of it, the public would then know this is the plan and these are the things that are in place before and if that ever comes to fruition.
Question on that. Let's say Google came in and put a data center here, and we agreed on a certain noise level, and they were above that, can you fight them?
Oh yeah, in 2 seconds.
Can you win, or is it
Yeah.
gonna be in court for 30 years?
No, that kind of stuff you wouldn't be. That's not hard to deal with. But you're also gonna have to structure things in an appropriate way, where if they are doing that, there are penalties. I mean, look, it's different, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but let's say there's 8 decibel for a residential, which is, lawnmower's louder than that, but let's say that's what it is. There's gonna be a penalty, say it's, I can't remember what it is as far as, I think it's $50 a day or whatever it is, it scales up. That's not gonna work for a big corporation. They'll be like, I can do $50 for the next 50 years, it's no problem. You structure that in the industrial system that you create under that ordinance to say, if there's these violations, it's not gonna be $50 a day, it's not gonna be $1,000 a day, it's not gonna be $5,000 a day. You can structure it where it's $100,000 a day. And you can do those things to where they know that they cannot do that. So all those things get taken care of when you create a plan or potential plan for something that may come to fruition or may not, but at least you have it in place. I've seen several cities where they just jump the gun, like, oh, look at the money, this is great, and now they're kicking themselves because they should have put it somewhere else. They should have done this, should have done that. So it's a great question, and it's something that can be addressed.
Right.
All that goes into the planning before it's even considered to allow someone to come in and put a place like that in.
And that's exactly what this process here is to do, is to get us in that.
Mr. Mayor, have you ever been to the data center in Omaha? Google?
Not that one, I've been in other data centers. I've been in one in,
This noise thing that I keep hearing about, that Google up there, never noticed.
You don't. So some centers, lazy's not the right word, cheap is a better word, and maybe a combination of both. Instead of actually building it correctly, and that goes to the process of planning and zoning and this governing body and the mayor and everyone else to make sure that those things are in place so you don't hear the noise. So you don't have, pushing a million gallons of water a day. All those things get put in the documents that we need to present with the understanding that this may never come to fruition, but it's something that you definitely should plan for. I mean, if you're talking $10 million, that's a lot of money that you can do, and if you can do it efficiently, effectively, where it does not affect the community, and it's not within the community, but on the outskirts, that would make sense to do. Look, there are other cities within this county that are $3 to $5 million in the hole that are looking at filing bankruptcy. So it's important to, and I know you talked about it much, you talked about when you ran, is to get things in place to try to bring in businesses that will not affect the structure, will not affect the ambiance, if you will, of the city itself, but generate that revenue.
Well said.
Yeah, a lot of work, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I've been researching this for quite some time. I'm in technology, so I do understand a lot about what these things are and what they aren't. So it's kind of been helpful for me to, you know, as I work through this, there's things I already know that are falsehoods, or maybe they were true 10 years ago, you know, with data centers and things, a lot of things have evolved. And, you know, Jamie has done a lot of research, and there's been a lot of phone calls and et cetera. So as we move through this, we will definitely want to talk to everybody, bring in experts that don't have skin in the game, that have been through this, you know, because nobody's going to trust an expert that has skin in the game.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
we need, it's interesting, we need to talk to residents that live in the city that has the data, that would be a plus.
yeah,
And talk to people that don't have this yet. I think that's a plus. I'm myself not knowledgeable in this area whatsoever, other than what you hear on social media or the news, which is all negative. So, and I'm also, you know, old enough to realize that everything you see on social media and the news doesn't always tell the truth. So,
Right.
anyways, I guess I need to do some research myself.
so I mean, that's just kind of,
I think this entire council should be doing some research.
yeah, we all should, you know, don't take my word for any of this. I mean,
Believe you me, I don't.
I feel like I present, you know, an honest, with everything I've,
Man says he's into technology, but he can't keep the cameras rolling in the council meeting.
hey, they've been running all night.
Oh, tonight, yeah.
Okay, next topic.
Next topic is another hot topic. Let's finish the night strong.
Well, your wife did dinner.
So,
Mine don't.
No, mine's.
City Hall is something that needs to be addressed. This building is a leased building that our lease is up next year, and we all know the cost is going to go up when we have to renew. This building has holes in the floor. This building has pipes that freeze up. What else is wrong with this building?
It's sinking on that side.
It's sinking over here. This building is not a good long-term solution for us. It has served its purpose. We need to start talking about what we're going to replace it with. We will not be replacing it with the Taj Mahal. And I'll let Curtis talk here in a moment, because he's done some research on this. We're looking at probably something like a barn dominium that we can do, you know, cost effectively, that will serve our needs, for, you know, for now and well into the future. And instead of paying $2,500, $3,000 a month rent on a building, we can pay that money on something we will own and stop paying on eventually. So with that, Curtis, I will turn it over to you.
All right, I went in, we're at the preliminary stage of concepts and what we could build for City Hall. A simple barn dominium, you know. I went and talked to YCS, that's who built my home, did my shell. So they built the shell, but I did all the interior work myself, being in drywall and painting, and my cousin being an electrician. So we did all the interior stuff. What would be nice, and I think it's very doable, that we could build a structure, have a company who we'll put it out to bid, of course. Build a shell. We have so many Lynn Valley residents that would do, you know, because once we build the shell, we have all the interior, the insulation, the framing, the tile, the cabinets, paint, drywall, HVAC, electrical, all of that for Lynn Valley residents to come in. So just preliminary prices, I went and we designed a 100-foot by 60-foot building, 6,000 square feet. How many offices, there were some drawings, there's some old blueprints that were made up years ago. So I basically took the floor plan from a set of these old plans, made it a rectangle building, 10-foot high walls. All the ceilings in the offices and stuff would be 10 foot. The meeting room like this would have a vaulted ceiling over it. And just a basic rectangle with a couple of entrances. There's all kinds of ideas, but right now preliminary, I mean, we've got some pricing to work with, which is actually pretty exciting, I think, for that size of structure.
For just the shell?
For just the shell, okay, nothing have not gone into yet in pricing out anything on the interior. So.
When you say there's people here in Lynn Valley, you're talking about to do the interior?
Contractors.
Yeah.
Contractors that live here in Lynn Valley.
We would obviously open up for bids.
Yes, it would be open
Take
to
preference to
bid.
people that are local.
But we
I'm
would,
just saying as long as it's not voluntary, because
no,
what I heard was gonna be a 2-weekend deal that mailboxes over there took 7 months.
no, we would put it up to bid, but you would think that residents in Lynn Valley, since this is their city hall, they're gonna come in and, you know, maybe sharpen their pencil and wanna do something nice, because it's their city hall too. So, as far as shell prices, the pricing I got just on the shell, now this includes the underground, under slab plumbing, concrete, the framing, the roof, the siding, all the windows and doors. And
Which
what
we
I
would
did
cut
is
down
I
on.
based it off of this drawing. All the windows and exterior doors on this building were included into the price. And so the price came in around 300, I think a little over $300,000 for
And we-
building
we-
the ship.
We could bring that down some because we wouldn't be putting
Yes.
20-some windows in there either.
We could delete, there's a lot of windows in this building. So,
The mayor just wants one window or what?
well,
You can hang a picture on the wall, who needs a window?
But just preliminary, and just to get the start, just to see where we're at and what we're doing, instead of throwing money away on rent, for these pods. But, so it's just a start, we're at the
Yeah.
stages to see
And-
what we,
One thing I want to add to that is kind of a golden rule on this, is that no property tax, mill levy increase, anything to pay for this.
right,
You know, we will use our existing funds and/or what we're paying already monthly for this. This will not cost the citizens another dime. Also, by having a better building, we will save a lot of money on utility costs, because it is not cheap to heat and cool this building.
right.
There's no insulation hardly, you know, the windows are old.
And where's the proposed build site?
TBD. I have some ideas, but until I know a little bit more, it's TBD.
Will we be getting hit for the condition of this building not being,
No,
Or-
absolutely not.
No.
no return charge?
There was no condition stipulations on.
This is not anything any of us really want to spend money on.
And what they will do, once they take this building, is they'll just patch it up like they did for us
Ship it out
and
in the-
take it to somebody else.
You know, we don't know what the increased lease is going to be, should we renew it next year.
We just know it's gonna be an
But
increase.
it's gonna be a lot because CPI's gone crazy, commercial property has gone crazy, everything has gone crazy since we renewed last. So I expect a significant increase in cost.
We have 2 new council members, but there was 3 of us on here that promised this community no new projects until these projects we got going are done.
We're not talking about starting to build anything today.
I know.
We're talking about planning.
And the water and sewer projects are, when are they supposed to be wrapped up and completed? 2027?
Yep,
Yeah,
2027.
early next year.
April, May.
But the
That's when
lease,
the lease comes up on these, and personally, I think it's crazy, the amount of money you're paying for these rental ponds, and it's nothing, it adds nothing to the city. So if we could build, this is my opinion, if we could build something without adding any taxes to any, then I don't see the problem with, and then that's just a benefit for all the residents of Lynn Valley. I mean, we'll have a city hall that's owned by the city.
I'll add a second golden rule to this, is, you know, if this project starts before the others are finished, it cannot negatively impact their progress.
Absolutely.
I don't see how it would anyway.
You know,
Well, it's
we-
not
we
so
got-
we've
much
got
about
Richard
This
that's-
would be outside
hindering
the
anything,
gates.
it's about the community feeling like you need to get something, get something done before you
No,
jump
I
into other
completely, you
stuff.
know, right now, we're
Yeah.
balancing that,
Yeah, cause it's gonna be a year's worth of planning anyway, so.
and say,
Oh,
we're
yeah, and
balancing
This
the,
is just early concepts, so
Yeah.
there's, lots of process before you even get to nailing down the exact blueprints and all that, so yeah.
yeah, this is the planning piece, so, you know, one, we may come in and say, well, shoot, this is gonna be complete cost, we can't do the cost the way we want it to do based on, you know, so we have to adjust things. We just know we can't stay in here long-term.
So do we go to a month-to-month
Yep.
rent on these then?
Well, we'll have the option of signing another contract, but we'll probably go month to month. That's why we need to get this planning kinda started
I
now.
have to check and see what that is, because if I recall, that's not gonna be a very good option.
The month to month?
Yeah.
Cause they'll upcharge it so
Yeah,
badly?
if I recall, that is not an option that anybody here wants to do.
You
I
know,
will tell you, you're probably looking at, on a safe 10 to 15% minimum on an increase the next go around with the lease. So,
Yeah, that's about what I was figuring,
10 to 15%.
which is gonna push us close to $3,000 a month.
Correct, so then you factor in, you're gonna have to factor in, will the citizens be okay with having, potentially have to look at, knowing our budget now is gonna be higher because we have to offset the cost of what that increase is gonna be versus staying in line if we have that
Right.
property.
Well, we know we won't be able to have anything in place to move into by the time this lease ends. So could we possibly get a discount for renewing the lease early
What you
and
can do
committing
is
to another year?
figure out what your timeframe's gonna be. If you guys decide to go and build a city hall, and then I go negotiate with them saying, hey, we need 6 months. And the reality of it is, if we get past that 6 months, and it's gonna be a few months, have them take it, and we can just have someone over there for a couple months, is what you would end up doing. Or, if you start the process soon, and you know that you're gonna have a 4 or 5 month window, it's uncomfortable, but there's a consideration to go, you have a building right there, stick everybody in there, and then take everybody to dinner once it's all done, and say sorry.
Sorry, Mindy.
That's Cindy, Mindy, who are you again? I
Yeah.
forget. And if there's no more any more questions on that?
That
Food
was
for
uncalled
thought.
for. No, I have no more questions about it.
Citizen participation, do any of the hundreds of people sitting out there in the audience right now wanna talk?
Mr.
No.
Jenkins?
Rest that.
With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
I don't know, he said he'd entertain it. I have to give the motion first.
Well, I think Mike kind of threw.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. All in favor?
Seconded it? All in favor, aye. Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for attending and watching online and our marathon session tonight.